Hey guys, I have a very special video today. I'm going to do a tutorial for a DIY paper storage. This is going to be made out of foam core, and I'll talk over, I have my supplies over here and here, and I've done a little bit of a drawing showing what it will look like finished and what parts you'll need. And I actually already started this because I was just like sitting in the living room working on it because I decided I needed one. It occurred to me that obviously this would make a pretty good video if I showed you guys how I made this, because I think it's going to turn out nice and it's going to be very useful. Because right now all of my paper is stored in that drawer and this drawer, and like if you can see it, all my paper's in here, but it's all like stacked up and you can't get to anything. So I want a way to organize my paper, and I didn't want to pay for one because when you look for like flat paper storage, like shelving units, it's so expensive. I don't know why they're so expensive. Like, it's easy to find paper storage, like desktop paper storage for 8.5 by 11 paper, but a lot of my paper is bigger than 8.5 by 11, so that doesn't work. So let's look at my drawing real quick. This is what I decided I wanted. The foam core pieces that I'm going to be making them out of is just 3/16 foam board, and I actually picked this up at my grocery store. I went to Walmart and was going to pick it up there, but completely forgot. So then I went to the grocery store to get some stuff for dinner and just picked them up while I was there. But the pieces were a strange size. So they were a strange size, so I ended up making this kind of a strange size, but I mean, you can adjust this to whatever size you want and however many shelves you want. This is just what I had decided for me. But basically what I started out with for this, which will be 4 shelves and 2 of them will be divided in half. And what I needed for this was 3 pieces of foam core and 1 piece of poster board. The largest size paper pads, like these are the sizes of paper pads I usually keep. I'm gonna focus. I keep 11 by 17. I keep 9 by 12 papers, and I keep 11 by 14 papers. So my 11 by 17s and 11 by 14s can fit on the big shelves, and 9 by 12 pads can fit on the smaller shelves. Also 8 by 10 and anything smaller than that can fit on these shelves as well, because there'll be 4 spaces, so I'll have room for this. You can pause if you want to make one exactly like this. You can pause now. Alright, I had actually written these backwards the first time. There's only going to be one that is 19 5/8, and then there are going to be 4 that are 20 inches wide, because I will be cutting the boards and sitting them in these slots that I cut into the side pieces. You can see them there. And I cut one at the bottom as well. So each one that goes in these slots will be 20 inches. And then the one at the bottom will actually just go in between these. It'll be glued directly to this, so it needs to be shorter by 3/16 of an inch on each side, because that's how thick this material is, so that everything sits straight. So what I have here is I have one board that is 19 5/8, which is what I need. And then I have 4 boards that are 12 by 20. 2 boards that are 9 by 12. It'll be 9 tall, and there'll be 4 shelves. And then you will need 2 of this size, which are 2 by 12, which are going to be these divider pieces. The materials you're going to need are, like I said, you're going to need 3 pieces of foam core, 3 sheets of foam core, and 1 sheet of poster board. You will need a pencil, an X-Acto knife. I do suggest using an X-Acto knife because the blade is small and you're going to need to do some kind of precision work here. And glue. And I'm going to be using hot glue because it is easy and it's sturdy. I'm going to set you guys up on the tripod here so you can see me cut here. I will show you how to do these little hollows, do this, and then I will speed you guys up for the rest of the process. I'm going to show you real quick how to make this piece, which is the most complicated piece of this whole shelving unit. It is going to, each of these raised pieces represents a shelf space, which is 2 inches. The one at the top is a little bit bigger than 2 inches, but it doesn't matter, whatever paper fits, whichever way you look at it. And each of these dents in here represents where a piece of foam core shelf is going to sit in. It's a more secure way of putting it together. I have my other side here. Now the first step of this is to find your pencil, got it, and measure. So I'm going to measure to match the other one that I did, and I'm going to line this up here, and it's exactly 9 by 12. Here we're going to start by measuring 1, 2, 3/16 up, because each of these, the foam core itself is 3/16 of an inch thick. That's the one that's the side we're gonna start with. So you measure 3/16 up, and then I just scoot the ruler up so it's on an even measurement, 9 here, just so that it's easier for me to go 1, 2 inches. Then count 1, 2, 3/16. Move it up a little bit, 1, 2 inches. And you're gonna do that all the way up. And the other side. Now remember, make sure you cut it on the side that lines up to this side, so you're going to start on the left now. Make your measurements as accurate as possible. Try to keep this space as even as you can. Alright, now comes the hard part. Now that you have the measurements done, you can't, if it's easier for you, you can lay the ruler down from measurement to measurement, from side to side, and draw the line that you're going to be cutting on, but I don't find that necessary, so I'm not going to do it. If it's easier for you and it makes you more comfortable, please do it. I'm just going to go directly in with the knife. The trick to this part now is to not cut too hard. You want to have a very light hand. Do not push down very hard during any part of this step. You don't want to cut all the way through. This foam core is made of paper, foam, and then more paper. So you want to cut through the paper and the foam of one side, but not through the other paper. Now, the way I do this is I line up my little points with my ruler, and I like to think about it as very specifically like the 3 separate layers. The paper, the foam, and the paper again. The foam in the center is going to be soft and easy to cut. That if the paper on top is going to be more difficult to cut than the paper in the center, or than the foam in the center, I'm sorry, that what your main goal for your first cut is to just cut through the paper on top. Do not worry about cutting through the paper and the foam in one go, because once you get through the paper on the top, you can carve away at the foam in the center very gently. Like, you don't have to push with your knife at all. Gravity will do all the work for you, and you can feel when you are sitting on top of the paper on the bottom. Like, you'll be able to feel it. Alright, so using the very point of the knife, you're going to cut just through the paper. If you didn't cut all the way through the paper the first time, fine. Just lightly go over it again. Now, I've cut through the paper, but I haven't cut all the way through the foam. And if you pick up the foam core and look, you'll be able to see that. When you're cutting yours, you'll be able to see it when you pick up and look on the edge. Now, once you cut through the paper, you can gently set your knife in there and just kind of pull. And the good thing about the paper and the foam being separate materials is that not only are they different densities, but they also make different sounds. So I cut all the way through that time, but I did not cut, I cut all the way through the foam that time. I did not cut through the paper on the back. So it bends. Now I'm going to do that with the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. All right, I have cut through just the first layer of paper and the foam on all of my little lines. Okay, now the easiest one, I like to start with the easiest one so I feel like I've accomplished something and I can move on to the harder parts. This one on the end here is going to be the easiest one. What you're gonna do with this is you're gonna turn it on its side. So you're gonna stick your knife between, I don't like to start all the way at the very end. I like to start a little ways in because you can always stick your knife in and go the other way to make up for that extra space. And you are going to cut down very slowly and very carefully, just deep enough to separate this piece from the bottom piece of paper. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. A little bit of extra foam left on your back piece of paper is okay. And then we're going to finish here. And your piece will come right off. The ones in the middle, as you can probably see, you know, you can't just stick your knife in the side and cut down. You have to kind of work with it. And the way I do these is I'm holding this up at an angle so that you can see it better. But I strongly advise, you know, you keeping it down on the table or the floor or wherever you're working, whatever. So for the center ones, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go in at an angle. Basically, you're going to want to make a 45-degree cut here, a 45-degree cut here, and pull this triangle out. And then you're going to want to make an angular cut down here and an angular cut down here to cut that extra triangle out. Now, that sounds weird, so I'm going to show you because I always find that seeing something done is the easiest way to learn how to do it. All right, so I'm going to stick this in here, not too deep, and I'm going to cut at an angle. And this makes it easier, like it helps that you can push this back a little bit, so feel free to go ahead and bend that back. But very lightly. I'm not pushing down at all. I am letting my knife do all of the work for me. And then I'm going to turn it over this way. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. Always pull your knife towards you. You have the most control that way. It's the same as, like, you know, with a pencil. You always have the most control pulling towards your body. And that was actually a pretty good one. Sometimes it takes a few cuts, like there, see that chunk stayed? I'm gonna have to go back in with that one and try again. Just go on this side. Oh, there it goes. Now, you can see here that it is actually a, let me see, figure out how cameras work here. Get it together, Lee. You can see it's actually like a triangle, which isn't what we want. We want it to be a square. So what we're gonna do is cut here all the way down. And like I said, nothing about this has to be perfect because the foam inside is soft. And if there's extra foam in there still, once you put, the hot glue will melt it a little bit. And once you put the other board in there, if there's anything like little pieces of extra foam and stuff, that's gonna get just squished because it's soft. It's not going to hinder any sort of anything. And basically you're just gonna wanna like chip away at it until like that side is pretty much done. Like you can see here that it's flat on that side, straight down. And then you're gonna flip it over and you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Feel free to bend, and once again, I cannot stress this enough, I am not pushing down like at all. It's tedious, but you only have the two sides to do it to. That is all of everything else is just a rectangle, and I think it's worth it, like I said, for the extra support. And really, that looks about like it. So that's one. I'm going to carve the other two of these out real quick. I'm gonna do it off camera so that I can let my battery charge for a minute. And then I will be back to show you guys how to assemble everything. Alright guys, I finished carving out my second one of these. So I have 2 side pieces. And what I actually also did off camera is I cut my second 2x12 piece. Like I had one, I cut a second one. And then I cut the rest of my scraps down into 2 more 2x12 inch pieces. And since the piece of foam core was 20 inches long, I ended up with 3 extra 2x8 inch pieces. And I'm going to use these extra 2 and 3 pieces for more support. I feel like I am going to need it. So I'm keeping those off to the side. And also took 3 of the shelf pieces. They're actually 2 of the shelf pieces, the 20-inch ones, and the bottom piece, which is just that little bit shorter. And I'm just marked with a line down the center, if you guys can see that. It is 3/16 of an inch, indicating where the divider space will be. Alright guys, my battery died right at the end of me putting this together. That was actually yesterday because it was late in the evening and it got dark and I film in natural light, so I had to wait until today, which is why my nails are a different color also. But anyways, this is the final product. Basically all I did was cut the piece of poster board to 9x20 and glue it on the back. And Pud is here to say hi. Say hi, Pud. Say hi. You say hi, Pud? Anyways, and I actually cut it a little bit short because some of these I cut to 20, but I didn't clear out the little hollows quite enough. So I gained a little bit of width from the extra, extra styrofoam that was in there that I didn't get out completely. So it pushes them out in the sides, and it also makes it a little bit crooked. And this one I just glued really crooked. So you can see that it's like super crooked. But from an angle, it doesn't look bad and it will serve my purpose. It feels fairly sturdy. Oh my gosh, he's barking. Oh, and these little extra supports in here, on the sides here and here, Those were the extra pieces I showed you earlier, and I didn't actually glue those in. I just shoved them in and it was tight enough to keep them there. And I really do think it adds a little bit of something extra as far as support goes. I'm going to put my pads of paper in here to see how they fit and see how it holds up to actually having the weight of the paper in it. And as I do that, I'm going to tell you guys about a quick announcement that I have that I'm very excited about. Alright, so my announcement is that I have joined an art collective here in town. I live in Columbia. South Carolina. And I got an invitation via my Facebook page saying that a woman in town has started a collective. And a collective basically is a group of usually artists and artisans, who work in a space together, like a studio space kind of deal. A lot of time, like, you know, usually this stuff is for sale. Sometimes, like in my case, this place has a storefront. We don't have retail hours or anything yet because there are 7 of us, 7 artisans in this studio space, all ladies. But eventually we may open retail hours. Right now it's appointment only. I get a slice of the pie, you could say, because it's one big studio space. And I basically get, you know, my little portion of it. I have a desk and I'll be able to set up all my stuff in there. Basically, I'm just hoping that it gets me more work and more exposure. And we're also going to have events. She said once a month, and maybe once every couple of months. But the events will be something similar to like a festival or I guess a festival would probably be the closest thing to it, but they'll probably be located at the actual space, the collective space, and it's where we'll just have, you know, like we'll send out announcements or invitations or something, and everyone can come by and take a look at our stuff and buy our stuff, and sometimes we'll have food and things like that. And those will be good networking opportunities as well as retail opportunities, you know. I mean, I have to gather the things here that I want to take with me to there. And this is a really exciting opportunity for me. I'm very, very excited about it. Oh, there is an Instagram for the collective, so if you want to take a look at the other girls who are in the collective with me, I will put a link to that in the description box below. I'm the only graphic designer, so I'm excited about that. And I'm the only, like, illustrator. I mean, I am an illustrator, but I'm the only person, like, we have painters, but I'm the only illustrator. I'm going to go over there tomorrow and start putting my desk together and taking stuff over and getting this bad boy set up. But this is it with the pads of paper in it, and it is holding up very, very well. I mean, it's not as pretty as it could be if I could do it again, which I could very easily, but I won't because it doesn't look that bad. But if I could do it again, I would trim off just a little bit of these 20-inch ones. I would make those maybe like just 1/8 of an inch smaller. Like not much at all, just like 1/8 of an inch shorter. So that would make them 19 7/8 wide by 12 deep. Other than that though, I'm really pleased. These are all my pads of paper. I have loose paper that I'll be able to stick in here. And I have like 8.5 by, all my loose 8.5 by 11 paper. I can get like a desk organizer, like a normal desk organizer. If you make one of these, leave a comment below with a picture of it after you're done with it. You could very easily decorate it with any sort of whatever you want. I think a really good way would be to do wrapping paper. Like get a really cute wrapping paper, and since wrapping paper is large, you'll be able to cover the whole surface. Basically wrap it like a present, and then you would have a really cute outside or exterior to this. I might actually do that. Leave pictures in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!